Welcome to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, a show where we interview industry leaders and disruptors, revealing the success secrets to create and unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Now your hosts, Thaddeus and Evan.
Welcome back to another HVAC Success Secrets Revealed with Thaddeus and Evan, where we have good conversation with good people, and any good conversation worth having is worth having drunk. So cheers, gentlemen. Victor,
cheers.
Good to join us, bud. I know you're keeping it non-alcoholic today, which is all good. It's 1 o'clock Pacific, so you still got a lot of day left.
Yeah, man. You're not gonna catch me drinking. I caught myself drinking last night, and I regret it today. That's always the case.
It's all good, man. Well, for those of you that don't know, Victor Rancour, I don't know, maybe you've been hiding under a rock somewhere for the last couple of years, but this guy has been dropping nothing but bombs online, sharing all of his wisdom in regards to running an HVAC business. He's been crushing it in his own business, Absolute Airflow, out in SoCal, and he is doing an unbelievable job. Now on pace to do about $25 million this year.
Yeah, roughly about 25 million out of the 2 locations in Southern California.
Yeah, dude's crushing it, and I can't wait to dive into it today. So, Victor, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Like I said, you guys have been chasing me down for a while, so I'm glad I finally got some time to jump on here. And like I said, I like to tell my story, and hopefully, when I come on the podcast, my goal is to try to motivate other people to get better in their life, and that's kind of my main purpose now. So,
cool. Yeah, no worries, man. Well, for those that haven't heard of you for some odd reason and they have been hiding under a rock somewhere, why don't you give us the Coles Notes as to how you got into HVAC and that journey from changing oil in Cleveland all the way to now running a $25 million business?
Yeah, man, and I've told the story a couple of times, but 8 years ago, I was doing oil changes in Cleveland, Ohio for $6.75 an hour, and I was a guy down in the pit getting my face burned by the oil. When I was there is where I kind of, to be honest, that's where I cut my sales tooth, I guess, because to get out of the pit, you had to sell shit. So, like, if you guys ever go get an oil change, right, and you can think this guy's upselling you shit, he's upselling you shit.
Yep.
Okay, so you don't want to be in the pit, so you got to learn how to sell stuff. And then in Ohio, it's a fast lube, so like you don't get out of your car. Like in California, we have like a Jiffy Lube where you wait in the waiting room. Here, it's like you're stuck in your car the whole time they're doing the oil change. So I was the guy up there selling everything, and when I was there, I went from working in the pit the first couple months to turning the worst store in the whole business. There's like 32 shops in this business, and we're the very first worst one when I was down in the pit, and I came up. And we ended up turning it to the number 1 store in Northeast Ohio. And we're the only store with 2 bays. Everyone else got 3 or 4. So obviously the line around the fucking corner, because everybody was waiting to get all these things done that I sold. And that's kind of where I kind of learned how to upsell stuff. And at that point, I'm not getting paid much to do it. $6.75, and I'd maybe get a bonus and make an extra, a couple $100. And I was pretty excited. And I'd spend my whole paycheck on booze Friday, and by Friday night, that shit was gone. I was eating top ramen for the rest of the week, or stealing shit out of the company fridge or whatever it was. You know what I mean? I wasn't originally from Ohio. I moved out there because I was a fucking maniac when I was growing up, like in my early 20s. Like I was a fucking wild man. All I did was party and work out and do all kinds of crazy shit. So I went there to kind of get away for a little bit and got away, and that was cool. And now then fast forward, I called my mom and I was like, "Mom, I want to get back to California. I can't sit. It's too freaking cold. I got no money. I'm living in a shitty little apartment. I get me back home." So, fast forward, she got me back home. And at that point, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I had no really plans or goals. I moved into an apartment, which ends up being who I'm with now, my wife now. So I moved into an apartment with her. I was like, I saw her in booty shorts. I'm perfect. I'm moving in. So, nice. So I moved back to California, and kind of went through a bunch of different odd jobs. I did phone sales, so I did what's called loan modifications, where I'd get people to send me checks. I'd never met them in person. I get them to send me checks from whatever part of the country they lived, and I made my commission doing that. I was really good at that. I created a pretty good process for that industry, like for the business I worked at, and they started using my process for every single person there. We were very successful, and then one day the FBI knocked on the door and they kind of raided that place. Obviously, I didn't know what the hell was going on. They weren't providing a service. I just was selling on the front end. So that was pretty fun.
Almost like straight up boiler room style.
Oh yeah. That was a fucking nightmare on the phone, man. And I was like, at that point, I was probably like 20, 23 years old, 24 years old, something like that.
Right.
I think I was probably 24 years old, and I was getting these grown ass people to fucking send me money in the mail, so it was pretty cool. Once and then after that, like that got shut down. I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do now? And my chick's dad did construction, so he was doing construction, and he's like, "Hey, you can work for me." And I was making $150 a day, fucking laying brick. I don't know if you guys have ever done pavers or like
Yeah.
stone.
Hate
I was
it.
doing stack stone every day using a fucking grinder, but that shit blasted me in the face. I'd come home coughing up shit, you know what I mean? And I did that for about a year. And I had a buddy that was working with me doing that, and he went to go apply at a heating and air company. And he's like, I found this place on Craigslist. They're going to pay me $60,000 a year to be a tech. They're going to train me. I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up, So finally, he went and applied, and I didn't see him for a while, and I ran into him, and finally when I ran into him, I'm like, hey, how's it going over there? He showed me his paycheck. I'm like, dude, your dumb ass can make that much money. I need to go apply. And so I applied there, and they wanted to make me an installer, and I wasn't too excited about that. I was like, no, I want to do what he's doing. I want to make money, And they figured because I'm fucking 6'3" and big old burly dude that did construction, they're like, okay, this guy's an installer. I'm like, no, not doing that. And yeah, so from there I became a technician, and quickly just kind of at this point I had a 5-month-old little girl, and me and my chick were living in a room inside of an apartment. So like we didn't have our own apartment. We had the shitty room in an apartment, and it was a party house. So that was fun with a 5-month-old. So I just kind of dug in. At this point I was completely sober. I hadn't drank in like 6 months at that point. So before my daughter was born. So like I had nothing better to do than to learn. So I'd go home, study, work like constantly. Like I was always role playing. I was always practicing. I was always trying to get better. And I went to work, and I didn't want to be friends with nobody. I just wanted to fucking win. And that was my mindset. As soon as I got in the industry, and a lot of guys didn't like that. They didn't like the fact that like I wasn't the buddy guy. That wasn't me. Like I was there to fuck you up and take your job. And that was always my mentality. And going through it, I just kept getting better and getting better and getting better, and eventually became a selling tech, which for my company that I was at is very, very hard to become a selling tech. Like normally it takes years, and I was able to do it in a year. Kind of moved up faster than anybody else had done before me. And they kind of set new rules to kind of slow people down after that. Cause they're like, dude, like this guy's fucking everybody up. Like we can't let people off. Right. So fast forward, I was there, that was probably one of my favorite places to ever work, which is Service Champions out in Southern California. Fantastic business, fantastic owner, fantastic training. I think they are the largest residential heating and air company in the country now. I think they're about like $500 million
Right.
a year revenue, which is fucking insane. And
You'll get there soon. Don't worry.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even want to do all that. That's crazy. But that's they're a fantastic business, and Leland is a fantastic owner. I mean, he invested a lot in his people, and I was one of the beneficiaries of it, and being along with a lot of other guys in the industry. Like in California, like as a business owner, you want to take the guys from Service Champions because they were the best trained. They were the most knowledgeable, the most personable. They're usually good people. Service Champions always believe if you can bring in good people, we can train them to do HVAC type of deal. I got lucky there, and then eventually I had one Airtime 500 top selling tech in the country a couple months in a row. I think in 2017, I think I won 5 times before I quit in September of 2017 at Service Champions. I was recruited and paid a good amount of money to leave there and go run another business pretty close by there. And that business, I was the service manager, sales manager, salesman. I had to wear like every hat at that point. And I got to kind of see the insides and in and outs of business. And at that point, it was, I went from Service Champions, which is this like shining star, perfect business. Like they have structure and everything, managers and everything's in place, right? It's not just you all day, to where it was not like that. So I got to kind of see the opposite end of the spectrum and how I don't like I don't want my business, right? Like you see one end and you see the other, you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to be like that.
Nope.
Was there for 9 months. And that's when I had an entrepreneurial seizure, and I decided I'm going to start Absolute Airflow. And I think it was about 5 days before I started the business, I came up with the idea drinking beers at my buddy's pizza shop. He was like, dude, why are you working for this guy? Why don't you just go work for yourself? I'm like, I don't know nothing about starting a business. I don't know. All I know how to do is sell shit, And he talked me into it. And next thing I know, I started a business, and from there, just had to figure it the fuck out,
Wow, man.
That's an amazing story. So, well, easy layup question. That I mean, figuring shit out on your own and starting something from scratch with literally zero business experience. What would be, I guess, what's your biggest struggle that you've came across along the way, and how did you overcome that?
The biggest struggle is you always need more money. Man, like especially for me, like I knew day one I didn't want a small business. I had 10 employees within 4 months. I didn't have a small business. From day one I had 3 employees, so I knew I didn't want to do the install. I knew I didn't want to run the service call, so I had to put people in place so I could do that. But it costs money to do that, right? And if I was to go back, I wouldn't have started a business at the end of summer. I would have started at the beginning of summer, so I can bankroll some cash. So I think I would have planned it better. I would have raised some capital. I would have got a business loan. I would have done some things in advance to make sure that I'm because there was days where I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, using credit cards, maxing them bitches out. In the beginning, I didn't have a license. I didn't have a license for my first 4 months in business because I didn't plan on starting a fucking business. And by the time I got my license, I already had 10 employees. So I'm fuck, dude, worried every day and trying to again, I got people saying, dude, you don't got a license, we're gonna call this. I'm like, you know what? I'm just trying to take care of my family, you know what I mean? So I didn't really give a fuck. And I kept growing, but when you don't have a license, you can't get equipment. And when you do get equipment, you gotta fucking buy it cash, check, or credit card. So you don't get to just wait 30, 90 days to get the money. You gotta have the money to get the equipment.
Yeah.
So, at the beginning, I'm like, dude, I gotta here's a check. It's gonna be fucking. I already gave them a check that I fucking knew they weren't gonna cash for a couple of days. So I can get the job done and fucking be able to pay the bill, put money in the bank before they got it.
That's called living on the float.
Yeah, dude. But like I said, it's just the way I had to do it. I had no choice. And I think if I went back again, I would have, hey, let's talk to a bank, let them know what I want to do. And I think they would have been more receptive because I have a very good it's not like I didn't know anything about the business. It was just that I just didn't have enough fucking money. So
Totally.
Every day was sell. So for the first year and a half, dude, if we didn't sell that day, we're fucked.
Well, and for most people can't operate like that, right? Like that feast or famine mentality. And if I don't go do this, I'm done and I'm out of business. I think what's special and unique about you is that drive to keep going and then to push. Where does that come from?
I don't know, dude. I'm a relentless nightmare, dude. I don't stop working. People don't understand. They're like, oh, how are you doing? I'm like, you don't understand. I don't shut off ever. I'm constantly always trying to get better at something. And I'm very, very, very competitive. So I hear shit people talking and I don't want to fuck them up. I just wanted to I really want to embarrass them at that point. And that's always been my mindset. You fuck with me, I would not want to be in competition with you. I fucking promise you that. It's gonna be you might win a couple of times, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna fuck you up. So that's I'm just being honest, man. That's how my friends are dude, you're fucked up. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't give a fuck. They're my competition. I'm gonna fuck them up.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, if you can bet on yourself, I mean, that's the wager I'm always willing to play, right? At the end of the day, I'm going to show up when my ass is on the line or my family's on the line, even worse, right? So, so is that what's going to happen in Vegas in October then? It's going to be you against Grant trying to sell something or what?
I was thinking the other day, because obviously, I got, this event in Vegas is going to be sick, sick. I got some shit planned out, I got a fucking hero. I turned it into a fucking mascot. I'm gonna have a fucking hero guy doing the goddamn robot on the stage. Dude, it's gonna be fucking lit. So obviously I didn't plan I just came up with this idea 3.5 weeks ago. Like, legitimately had no plan on start having an event. I reached out to Brent Buckley on Instagram. I think on Instagram, I was like, "Hey man, we should do a training." Actually, no, I was trying to bring him in to be in my app that I'm coming out with. So I was like, "Hey Brent, like I want to get your videos in my app, blah blah blah." And then he's like, "Man, we should do a training together." I'm like, "Yeah, like maybe sometime in California." Then I'm like, "How about we do one in Vegas?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I bet you we can get some people to come." He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I don't think he knew that the second he said let's do it, like I'd go do it. So like I went immediately and I posted, "Hey, me and Brent are doing a fucking event in Vegas." He's like, I went to dinner and my fucking phone wouldn't stop going off. Like, he's like, "What the fuck happened?" I was like, "Dude, you said you wanted to do it, so I guess we're gonna do this shit." And then just like from there, like, dude, you know what'd be fucking cool? I can do this. You know what'd be fucking cool if it was at Caesar's Palace. Dude, we should get some fucking penthouses and throw some VIP parties. He's like, okay. He just didn't know okay. I'm like, no, like, okay, I'll figure it out. And then I realized that all the event people for Vegas have been furloughed. So like to try to get an event in Vegas was fucking hard. So I had to pull some strings of some like VIP hosts and stuff that I know out there. It's like, hey, I need a venue. And I'm like, I was getting legit scared because I told everybody we're going to do this. And I was getting legit scared we weren't going to find a venue. So I'm going back and forth. And finally, we get a venue. And once we get the venue, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm locked in Caesar's Palace. I'm like, cool. Me and Brent, Caesar's Palace. And I'm like, you know what I want? I'm going to get fucking Mark Cuban. And that was my goal. I wanted to get fucking Mark Cuban. I was like, what does that motherfucker cost? You know, how much does it cost me to get Mark Cuban here? And then I started calling all the agents and trying to get a hold of him. And he just wasn't available for the dates. I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, who's next? And I'm like trying to think of people. I'm like, dude, how about Grant Cardone? I wonder how much he is. I didn't know he was gonna be a goddamn $250,000. Okay, that's $250,000 to give me that talk. And then now in my mind, I'm like, how do I get someone to pay me $250,000 to come talk for a couple hours? That'd be pretty fucking cool. So that's definitely my next goal is to figure out how to get paid $250,000 to talk for a couple hours.
It sounds like most people go ready, aim, fire. You're like fire, ready, aim. Doing it in reverse. So, but that's a good thing to have. I mean, you don't get caught in analysis paralysis. Just get out there, just fucking do it, right? Like, don't wait for things to be perfect.
Like my friends that are around me, like they think that's my most inherent like thing is that like I don't hesitate. Like literally the second I come up with an idea, I implement it, and they're like, how the fuck did you do that? I'm like, dude, it sounded like a good idea. Like I came up with an app idea, and all of a sudden I got developers building an app in fucking 3 days. Like 3 days later, I already have app developers working. I said I want this, and this, make it happen. Yep. Right. So like stuff like that, I'm like, that's just how I am. I implement everything faster than everybody else, so it makes it unfair. Like that's why I posted the other day. I'm like, evolve faster than they can keep up. So they can't keep so fast they can't keep up, dude. It's impossible. Totally. You're gonna still be thinking about it. I've already fucking created 2 more things.
I love it, dude. Well, and that's funny. Have you read Think and Grow Rich or heard of it at least?
I don't read books, dude.
All right, cool. So Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, right? Yeah. He was pitched the idea by Andrew Carnegie, wealthiest person in the world at the time. What Napoleon Hill didn't know is Andrew Carnegie actually had a stopwatch underneath his desk. From the time that he asked him if he would take on the project, he started the timer. He had 2 minutes to answer. If he didn't answer, the project was gone, right? Those people, the thing that makes the difference, the thing that has separated you big time is that ability to make a quick decision and move forward, take action now, and then adjust, right? Like you mentioned the other business that you had started that you squashed, right? Because your business partner in that business wasn't moving fast enough, right? So I'm curious, in that ability to make a quick decision, move forward, take action, how do you know when to pull the plug and say, you know what, this isn't working out, and change direction?
It's happened a couple times, and I'll exhaust every effort to make it the right choice. And if it's not, then I just as fast as I came up with an idea, I'll cut it. I'll cut ties fast. You know what I mean? I like to give everything its due process, but if it's not making sense, I'm not going to keep beating up a dead horse. I'm going to try to go figure out a different way to win. Because if I keep doing that, I'm going to lose, and I don't like fucking losing. So it's one of those things you have to know when to cut it. And I've been decent at it. I've had some points where I push it too far, or like even like employees, like I kept trusting these people for too long, and then eventually they fuck me, right? And like
Yep.
one of the things I learned along the way is like that little thought you have in your head of like, dude, this guy's not the right person. If you ever think it, just cut it now.
It's done.
It's gonna fucking keep getting worse. It's gonna compound. And anything you have, if you have one fucking employee that you think, dude, like you don't like coming to work because of that guy, fucking fire him now.
Done.
If you don't fire him now, it's just gonna get fucking worse. And I had to learn that the hard way. Where I knew in my head, like, this isn't the right person. This isn't the right person. Every day I come to work, like, dude, what the fuck am I doing? Just do it. Just fire him. And that has been the hardest thing because I have so much belief in people. So learning to cut ties was always difficult for me, especially because I would sell everybody so fucking hard on my vision. Like anybody that works for me, I sell like on this is where we're going, and I need you to fucking get on the boat and let's do it. And when you finally bring these people on, you get them convinced to go forward, and then they're not the right people. It's really hard to kind of cut them.
Totally. Well, and that's one of the things that like I follow a couple of your guys on Facebook and Instagram as well, and they're always posting stuff with their absolute gear on and like the passion. And I've heard it from other guys too. I heard it from Gil Cavey and talking about the culture that you've created there and how much your guys love working for you. Like how have you gone about creating that culture there that people just love coming to work for you?
You have to you gotta sell people on what you're doing, man. Like I sell like everybody, they know how I operate. They also know that I work consistently all the time. Like I'm not on vacation. I'm not off doing something fucking wild. I'm all I do is work. Like I don't buy fancy shit. Like I don't really do crazy stuff. I just don't. I only care about investing in my business. Like they see every penny I get, and everyone gives me shit. And I'm like, dude, I'm playing the fucking long game. I already know that this business will hit $100 million in the next 5 fucking years. I guarantee it. And the only way to do that is keep reinvesting instead of I don't need the money. Like I make money. Like people don't realize I make a lot of fucking money doing a lot of different things. I don't have to be at my business. I don't even need money from Absolute. I fucking Absolute can shut down tomorrow and I still have more money than I fucking need. So I just live like that way. I don't need the money from the business. I'm just going to keep reinvesting in people and processes and buying trucks and doing and marketing and doing all this stuff. So that's what I do. And at the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck what anybody else says. They're going to like my whole team is like, when you come into our meetings, it's us versus fucking everybody. And when someone else comes, like dude, it's kind of savage because like we're all young. Like it's not like this old man that's been doing it for 30 years and he's just like, oh, just follow the process. No, we're all like, yeah, fuck you. We're leaving. We're here. We're taking what we fucking want, and that's how we work.
Right. I love it. Well, and when they've got that much conviction in you, selling a product is a lot easier, right? Because your product that you're selling versus someone else down the street, it's the same machine, right? At the end of the day, it comes back to the company and who it is that you're representing. So when they have that much conviction in you, it makes it a lot easier to make a sale.
Yeah, I have the best installers in the country. I got like I train like we do shit different. Like there's no one even close to what we do. I don't think. Like it just day after day, because my guys believe in what we're doing. I take care of them. I pay them well, and they just do like the right thing every fucking time. And I can guarantee I don't know anybody else that consistently does the type of work that we do day in and day out over and over. And it's because we just all have a mutual respect for each other. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to babysit my guys. Like a lot of guys at the micromanage and beat them up. Like they want to do the right thing consistently.
But that goes back to that culture that you've instilled, right? When you have that great culture and you generally want to win. And I think most people want to win in life. So you can instill that, and then like, hey, we're part of somebody and a company and a greater vision that can be able to do that. At the end of the day, is a massive benefit. For all parties and everyone involved, like going paintballing on a Sunday with your installers, right? Like,
yeah, that like we didn't send we sent aside. Like I took my sales guys out to Mastros, install guys paintballing. I sent my Indio staff to a Toby Keith concert, stuff like that. Like we're trying to make it more fun. Like you guys see like the championship belt that we have.
Yep.
Things like that just to make it, something to go for. Like right now, this week, whoever's a top salesperson this week gets Rams tickets. So they're gonna get badass tickets. They're gonna go take their girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever they are. and they'll be able to go to the Rams game. You know, the week before it was Angel tickets or whatever it is. I just try to put a little carrot out there for them to, you know, go after. Because, you know, just like I always, like, you put a competition, you put me like anything in front of me. Like my old boss, every Saturday he would have a bounty, and the bounty would be like, hey, if you sell 50,000, you get an extra grand. If you sell 40,000, you get this, or whatever it is. You sell 3 jobs, you get this. And I'm like, oh fuck yeah, you just fucked up. I mean, like, I'm gonna fuck what you put out there. I'm gonna come back with 50 grand or 60 grand, whatever you put out there. I'll figure it out. And that was how I was driven. I was like a horse with a carrot in front of me. You know what I mean?
What are your thoughts on standards and like minimum standards that you have for yourself and what you expect of yourself? Because and where this comes from for me is people will often they'll fail to exceed the expectations of their peer group, right? And so if you have these exceptional standards set out for your business, for yourself personally, other people are going to want to rise up to that because they don't want to disappoint their boss, their leader, their manager, their friends, etc. So I'm curious what your thoughts are around that.
Well, I can tell you they've changed. When I started my business, it was like party town. Like there was no standards. I did not lead by an example, right? I was we go drinking every night. We do all this stuff every night. Like now I'm in bed by like 9 or 10 every night. Like I'm fucking passed out. I'm up early. So I kind of changed myself about a year ago, you know, kind of when COVID hit. Like I just kind of, you know, my business, I thought I was going to lose my business. So all of a sudden we went from, I had just dropped like $60,000 to $80,000 on fucking radio for March of last year, and I paid it, and then everything died, and there was no weather, and I'm answering my own phones, and I'm like, dude, what in the fuck's going on here? And it made me just kind of realize, like, oh shit, like I got to get my shit together because I had been last year and a half, I was partying, blowing money, spending everything, buying, just doing everything so fucking wild. I had to bring myself back in. I had to shrink my head a little bit and then kind of change and reform the business how I wanted it because I had lost employees and stuff like that. And I had to like reinvent myself. I'm like, is this who I am? And I'm like, this isn't who I am. Like I want to work. I want to build a beautiful business. I want to give everybody a beautiful place to work. If another pandemic hits tomorrow, we're good. We're not going out of business. I ain't fucking laying anybody off. We're going to stay at work because I built it that way now that we're going to be fine going forward, if that makes sense.
Yep, 100%. And that's just a testament, like how many businesses can change on a dime like that and continue to have the growth and success that you've had. And it's a testament to, you know, to the will to survive in the business and make things better for everyone. So I know that you chatted, you know, marketing dollars a few times, but I'm going to enter in our random question generator. It's one of the things that we like to do the most. It is kind of completely off topic, but also on topic at the same time. And it has really nothing to do with the conversation other than what is the most worthwhile goal a person can dedicate their life to? So what is the most worthwhile goal a person can dedicate their life to?
Worthwhile goal
or worthy thing?
Man, you gotta fucking throw me some curveballs, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, buddy. That's the random question. That's the beauty of the random question generators. We pull it up, and it was literally. Sometimes we have to cycle through a couple shitty random question generators, and we're like, okay, that one fucking sucked. This one came up. I'm like, you know what? First time, let's give her a roll.
You know what? I mean, so what was the question again? One more time.
What is the most worthwhile goal a person can dedicate their life to?
Dedicate your life to being a fucking good person, man. And I didn't for a long time. I just legitimately, all I want to do is help people. Like that is my fucking goal. It's literally once you become in that serving mindset, your whole life will change. Like I legitimately put everybody else kind of above me at this point. Like, you know, if it came down to it, I would take the shirt off my back for people. Like that's how I operate now. And because I switched to that mindset, my entire life has grown exponentially. People want to be around me. People want to do business with me. People want to interact with me. You know, when I first started my business, like I was the guy flipping tables and angry and just all over the place, right? And like now I'm just not. Like I just want to help people. I want them to get better. And I think that's kind of what's allowed me to step into my new career, I guess, which is training. Like this is something I've been wanting to do forever. So now it's I get to go serve people and help people and just the last 2 months as I decided to do this, like to see the amount of growth in other people has been fucking cool. So, and because of stuff that I'm doing, so I literally feel like I wake up every day just excited now.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's get into that a little bit more then in the training. And so you still own Absolute Airflow, but other people are running it now. You've put the right people in place. You've evolved them into their role. Now you've taken a step back. You're running Service Hero, right? Which is marketing, training, sales training, right? So let's dive into that a little bit more. Tell us about Service Hero.
Yeah. So first off, I already had the right people in place. I just had to trust them. So now
Yep.
I put them through a lot more training, and they got a lot more stuff like on their end to where they can make decisions on their own. And I have a really good team that they come together and make decisions, and they bring it to me if it's really crazy or something really crazy is going on. But at the most part, they don't bring it to me anymore. So that's been great, and I'm blessed that I have such good people that work for me. But outside of that, man, like 2 months ago, I woke up on a Saturday morning and I'm pushing my kid on the swing, and I'm like, you know what? I want to see if anybody wants to do some training with me. And I posted it on my group, and sure enough, I sold it out by the next week. So I did my first training, and I put my all into it. Like for me, if you ever know me, I don't sit still. Like I can't focus on a lot of stuff. And I said, okay, for these fucking 3 days, I'm gonna change these people's lives. Whoever comes here is gonna leave here knowing more about this industry than they ever fucking knew before. I don't care how long they've been doing it. When they leave here, they're gonna go make more money than they've ever made before. And that was my number one goal with it, and it fucking crushed it. Like people are like, dude, I've been to every training. One guy's like, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I've been to trainings all over the fucking country. I've been to the best of the best people, and there's nothing like what I just went through for 3 days. He's like, I've never got so much fucking knowledge in 3 days, and I never had such a clear path on how I want my business to run after those 3 days. So that was pretty cool as far as that. So, and then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do one more training before summer. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, I sold out 3 more, and I sold out 3 trainings for the last month. And I'm like, well, fuck, now I got to do 3 trainings, it takes a lot out of me. So it's 8 hours of me talking and pacing around and teaching and doing this stuff. And people don't realize how much time and energy it takes to do it. And for me to just drop everything else I'm doing, like, and they're like, "Oh, you're charging so much." I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I make this much money a fucking day, and I'm giving up 5 days to come here and help you. So you better fucking figure it out." I ain't trying to be the cheap trainer. I'm the Rancour of trainers. I'm trying to get paid if I'm going to take my time. And so it worked out really well. And everybody that's came through here, man, just the text and love and everything there, just we kind of built a little brotherhood after 3 days. And just the positive stuff that I've got back has been phenomenal. So then I said, okay, well, what's the next step? And that's when I said, fuck it, I'm just going to do this full time. And I made that decision a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm doing Zoom trainings every day. I'm doing I got a full schedule of trainings for the rest of the year, and we're just building this thing out now. Now it's like, okay, well, now what's the next thing? I want to build out this app, and once my app comes out in like 8 weeks, I'm going to keep building onto that. So I have a sales training. It's a sales training app, I guess, but it's also a technical app. It's kind of like there's nothing really like it in the marketplace.
Dude, the snapshots of it look so sick.
Yeah,
it's gonna be sick, and it's gonna have my tune-up process, AC tune-up, furnace tune-up. It's gonna teach. So imagine you have a tech in the field, and he doesn't know how to sell a compressor saver kit, right? So the video, he's gonna watch a video. It's gonna tell him exactly how I would pitch a compressor saver kit to a customer. I made the videos to where they can even just show the customer the video and hey, this is the reason why you need it. And then after that video, they're gonna get a corresponding video of how to install it. And then I'm doing that for all these different parts, fan motors, compressor, or, whatever it's called, gas valves, all kinds of shit in there, right? And along with that, I'm going to have, my process and how I do in-home sales and how I do heat load calculations and all this stuff. And I got about 1,000 videos we're going to have uploaded into the app. And then from there, I'm going to be teaming up with some of the best trainers in the country. And I'm going to be shooting videos of their process. And you can buy their process through the app. So you want to buy Brent Buckley Open? You can buy that, or you want to buy Jason Walker, you can buy that through the app. And then obviously they get their money and I get a little bit of kickback on it, but it's more of just building out this app to where it's like the encyclopedia of heating and air conditioning.
I love it. That's sick, dude.
Yeah,
so for any company that has ever wished they had a $5 million selling tech in their business, now you got it. You got it in your pocket.
So let's drop this. We will shamelessly plug you. So callservicehero.com is one of the ways that people can get in touch. And that is there, and they can find and get in touch with you for the training and the app and everything on that website. There, if they want to reach out and obviously ask Victor any questions, you can reach them on the old Facebooks, facebook.com/victor.rancour. We will post both of those links in the bottom of the show notes for you later. But that is where you can get in touch with him and the app and his sales trainings.
All right, we got to talk about the big training coming up, though.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like I came up with the idea, and then, like I said, I made shit happen, like everything else I've ever done. There, you saw Gene gave me the nickname the Rocket Man. I'm like, you know what, it kind of sticks. So whatever it is, I'm going fucking full speed ahead. So I talked to Brent. Brent's like, okay, let's do it. He didn't realize I was gonna like announce it. Then I announced it, and then we started rolling. Then we got a venue. We're like, cool, we got a venue. Well, now we got to sell tickets. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got to sell tickets. And they're like, why are we charging so much for tickets? Because they didn't realize that I'm trying to bring in some big fucking guests. So I brought in Grant Cardone, and that was a bitch to get. Like, people don't realize he doesn't do small venues. So we're doing 250 people, this little venue with fucking Grant Cardone there. Like, people don't understand it doesn't happen, right? And then
he sells out stadiums for his 10X event. Like,
yeah,
dude's legit. Stadiums. Yeah.
And then I got Brandon Dawson, who is his CEO of Cardone Ventures. And he's like the fucking business growth coach of all time. Like, that's what he does. He grows businesses. He grew these massive businesses and sold them, and he took them public and sold them. So I got these guys. I'm like, cool, that's fucking badass. And then next thing you know, I was talking to Gene Slade, and Gene Slade's another sales trainer and another guy I respect, and he's really good with IQ. And I said, hey, Gene, you want to come join me? Because I want to make this thing fucking badass. Like, I want this to be like when people see the lineup, they're like, what the fuck? And I just threw it together in 3 weeks, So then I got Gene, and Gene's like, cool, I'm in, let's do it. And then next thing you know, I reached out to two of my, mentors or guys. I went to their trainings twice, and these guys charge a pretty penny to come to their trainings, right? Yep. And that's Judge Graham and Matt Monero. They run an event called Burn the Ships out in Texas.
Yep.
And it's not a cheap event to attend, and it's helped me scale my business. And I've actually paid to go twice, because the first time I was so new in business, it helped me go. And then I'm like, okay, now I want to get to the next level. So I went back again to learn more from them. So I messaged them, and they're like, oh, maybe. And then I was like, and I made a post in their group, and they're like, oh, and they have a group, and they're like, oh, how come Judge and Matt aren't in? I'm like, well, they're too chicken to come. And next like, fuck that, we're coming. And so I got them on. So I'm like, cool, this is a fucking badass lineup. And then next thing you know, I'm like, talking to Jason Walker, because Jason, we've been back and forth, we've been friends for a while, and I've been on his podcast and been on my training and stuff like that. And I asked him, I said, hey, he's Mr. 10X, like, he loves Grant Cardone. So I'm like, dude, how about you come round it out? We're gonna have this badass event. So he jumped on too. So now we got like 8 fucking badass dudes. We're at Caesar's Palace. I got VIP party. We got penthouses. I got fucking everything set up. And it's just going to be a badass event. And everybody that's going to leave there is going to leave a blueprint on how to fucking grow their business exponentially. Like, I'm literally going to, here you go. I'm going to give you a fucking blueprint on how to grow your business. And you can either do it or don't. But after this event, you're going to be motivated to change your life.
Perfect. We had a question on the event a little bit earlier in the show. Who's the target audience for my shit's fucking up here. So I'm freezing a little bit. So my apologies. I'm hardwired in, and like shit's still fucking up. So who is the target audience for the training event in Vegas? Is it sales training? Is it is it salespeople? Is it techs? Is it business owners? Is it anybody in the HVAC space?
Anybody in the HVAC space, anybody in home service business that wants to get better. So it's going to be, obviously, you got me, you got Brent Buckley, he's a $7 million salesman. Like, people have been begging this dude to do trainings forever, and he doesn't have time. He's actually in the field doing this shit that he's going to teach. And this is stuff that he does every day to sell $7 million fucking dollars. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, we had him on the show, and it was just like the man's a machine.
Yeah, and so obviously he's not going to have any other trainings. Like, he's busy, so you have one chance to come see Brent Buckley and see his processes. And the cool thing is, you're going to get a written process of what he does. You bring it back to your guys.
Nice.
We'll have these are people for want to be their techs turn becoming a salespeople, so selling techs. Then I have business growth too. So I envision it. The owner taking the two best guys, 3 best guys, the guys they want to invest the most money into, the time, the guys that they want to just fucking crush their business. So it should be the owner, because the owner has to buy in too. So the trainings that I've had in my facility, the owners that have come and gone through it, their businesses have scaled quickly because they like, dude, I want my business to run like this, and it's actually better. So I recommend the owner, and then they're, a guy they want to be a really good selling tech, and a guy they want to be a good comfort advisor, or whoever has the best summer, whatever you guys want to do. But it's going to be for anybody that wants to get their business better.
100%. No, I would argue that you need to bring your entire team out, but hey, that's just me.
Honestly, I can tell you that if you're not there, you're going to regret it.
100%.
It's going to be that big of an event, and I don't do things on a small scale, and I don't do shitty parties, and I don't do shitty anything. So it's going to be very dialed in. It's going to be done right, and everybody that's going to leave there is going to leave there just stoked that they actually got to be there for this. Because I don't know if it's ever going to happen again. You can't just create shit like this all the time. Like the hype train's going, and you better fucking get on. And we're about to be sold out anyways. So as soon as we're sold out, then sucks to suck.
Yeah. No, if you're not enrolled yet, you need to get on this train right now. Well, and the thing that I love about your lineup too is the wide variety of personalities that are showing up there. Like when we had Brent on the show, he was not at all who I expected in terms of a selling tech that's doing $7 million a year. Like his approach is so different than yours, who's fast paced. Like I'm in your face. I'm going to tell you like it is. Gene, same thing. Like he steps back and just asks like unreal questions, right? Everyone's approach is a little bit different. And I think it's going to like whatever your personality is, there's someone there that you are going to be able to learn from exactly what they do. And everyone else, you're going to be able to take what they do and apply it to yourself in some way, shape or form. So I'm incredibly impressed by it.
So imagine you want to go to a training with any of these guys. Gene's $25,000 to come to your shop. Jason's $20,000 to come to your shop. You can't even fucking pay me to go to your shop. And Brent don't have no fucking time to go to your shop. Grant Cardone, $250,000. You got $250,000? Probably fucking don't. It's the only chance you're going to be able to get to see him, especially up close. And then on top of that, Judge and Matt are fucking $100 million businesses that scaled it. And these guys, they charge, just to go for their 2-day events over like $5,000 or something like that for a 2-day event. Yeah. So you're getting all of it in fucking Vegas at goddamn Caesar's Palace at Halloween weekend.
There you go.
It's gonna be fucking sick.
There you go. I love it. Well, to flip the script a little bit, one thing I wanted to talk about, just because it meant so much to me, was something that you went through personally the last little while. And Thaddeus mentioned this as well earlier, but we both truly admire how out there you are on social media, and you're willing to put anything out there, whether it's personal, business, doesn't fucking matter. Here's who I am. I'm going to lay it out there. Take it as you want it. Here we go. But everything that you went through with your dad, I know you just lost him recently. But seeing the sentimental post that you put out as to what he meant to you, how much he meant to you, like I read one of your posts and I'll never forget it because I picked up the phone immediately and I called my dad and just said, thank you. And I love you. I miss you. Like he's 8 hours away from where I am. So one, I wanted to say thank you for that motivation to just realize how special that is that he is still here. But I did want to touch on that subject and just ask you, like, what are some of the greatest lessons that your father taught you over the years?
So my dad that passed away, he was not my biological dad. So my biological dad, I never met him in person. I found him on Facebook recently, and I actually reached out to him and talked to him, but I've never met him or really anything more than a half an hour conversation on Facebook. So this guy has raised me since I was 1, and he met my mom in traffic in LA, and they pulled over, grabbed some drinks, and next thing you know, I got a little brother in a year. So, you know what I mean? So, they moved quickly, but he raised me since I was 1, and he doesn't operate. So I'm more like my mom. My mom was a salesperson. She was a high up in Bank of America and stuff like that. And when I was growing up, and for me, it was like, it's a different mindset. Like he was a guy, he went to work. He worked at Home Depot for 25 years. And he went to work every single day. He went to work at 6 a.m. He was off by like 2:30 so that he could be home before he got home from school. And he worked there for 25 years and got kicked in the dick and got laid off. When the market crashed in 08, 09, he got laid off after 20 fucking years working there, didn't get his retirement, and got fucked, right? So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, I'm fucking definitely not going to go work for somebody for all these years, making money, and then they're going to fuck me. So I think that was one of the big things that I got, and his work ethic, going to work every day, just showing up no matter what type of deal. So I've definitely got that from him. And then, like I said, just the got to see what happens when you invest in someone that doesn't give a shit about you. And I just never want to be like that. And it was cool. So when I started my business, I knew right away, I'm like, dude, I got something special. And I remember I called my dad, and he was living up in San Diego. We never got to see my kids. He never got to see my brother's kids. He was working for the state up there, as a groundskeeper, and working his ass off out there every day. And I said, hey, Dad, like, I don't know if you've seen or anything. Like, I started a business, and it's taken off like crazy. And I don't know what you make. I don't know what you're getting paid there now, but I'll pay you more to come back down here and work with us. And he's like a handyman, so he can fix and do anything. So, obviously over the next year and a half, he worked for me, and he was the cleanup guy. And he was happy to do it. Like, he was just happy to be helping his son grow the business. And I kind of got to watch him kind of deteriorate. And I wish now during that time, because like I told you, the fucking building was on fire because we're always having to sell. We had to get money in the door. And we were always like, I was always stressed out. So I didn't get to really enjoy it as much as I could. And sometimes I would like realize it when I'm like, dude, like it's pretty cool to work with my dad and my brother, And so I would slow down, but I think like I regret it. I regret one thing, and that was just like always focusing on work and not realizing, all the other shit going on. Like I'm really bad about going to visit family and doing all that stuff. I'm so focused on myself. And I think that's something that I'm trying to get better at, is to slow down and enjoy people like my mom and stuff like that. So I think that's something I'm getting out of it. That's pretty cool. I got his work uniform here, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so that's kind of what I learned from it. And and a lot of guys, like I got a friend of mine who's just like, his dad passed away in January, and he shut down. Like he can't, his business, like he can't work, like he's fucking losing it. And my dad just did not want me to do that. He's like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing. He's like, it's so fucking. He's like, my dad can't even fathom what I'm doing. He's like, how the fuck are you doing this? Like, because when he was, he was dying and stuff, and he was on hospice, and he's like, and I'm telling him all the stuff I get. I'm like, Dad, I got this training. Like he's like, training? What do you mean? I'm like, yeah, these people are fucking flying in from all over the country to come train with me. Like, like this is fucking crazy. And just trying to explain all the stuff I had going on. And he was just so proud. So I think that was pretty cool. And that was one thing he told me, like, I'm just so proud just to make sure that, you don't stop what you're doing because of me.
So it like, and I'm not being facetious, that like literally hearing that, brings tears in my eyes, really, because it's an important thing to have that sort of a guidance and support, especially from, a father figure in your life. So to your dad and all great dads out there, I want to give cheers, to that, for all that they continue to do for everyone. So cheers to him.
Yeah.
On to the question that I wanted to ask. I know it's always tough to segue out of a touching and an emotional subject. By the way, I do thank you. I know another person who likes to wear their emotions out there is Devin Harrison. I know he's a great friend of yours as well. To talk about your emotions and your things out there in the open is a very powerful thing, to be able to continue to do that. So I do want to commend you for that as well. A lot of people like to ignore and override. And I think more people need to be like you and Devin and talk about those things openly with that. So
it's weird, I do it, and everyone kind of gives me shit like, you do too, like you show everything. And I'm like, dude, because
fuck them.
Well, the thing is, like, I've had so many people, like, you don't see the messages that people reach out to me and how it's impacted their lives and stuff like that. So when you start getting to the level of where you're impacting people's lives just by making a simple post, I don't really give a shit. I got nothing. Like, I used to have shit to hide. I don't got nothing to hide. Like, all I do is go to work and I do my shit, and that's it now, And before it wasn't like that. It is. I got now, like, when you got all your shit together and you're not worried about shit, then it's easy to post stuff and not be scared of whatever repercussions happen.
Totally.
Yep. But even just putting it out there, like, it's, you to be raw and vulnerable, it's a great risk, and not everybody's willing to take that. So to keep an eye on the time and to dive into the marketing. I know you've mentioned it a few times, reinvesting in the marketing. At the beginning of the pandemic, you dropped 60 grand on radio. When you first started, you went through some like 3 or 4 different marketing companies in your first year before you started Service Hero. So What's your overarching philosophy on marketing specifically for HVAC businesses?
You got to do the right thing at the right time. So now, I'm heavy into Google now, right? But I was not heavy in Google when I started because you can't compete with people like me that got deep pockets, right? So you got to know what you got to get your name out there. You got to build a brand. Like for me, like it's always been a big deal to build up my reputation. And then I was on the radio 6 months into business, and people were like, "Dude, why are you on radio?" And I was like, "Well, I want to get my name out there, right?" But when you first get on the radio, you think the phones are going to ring, and then they don't. And then you're like, you gotta learn the radio because I was doing like 30-second ads, and I'm like, no, you gotta do a minute long ad. Then you gotta figure out something that's gonna be catchy. I've had my daughter into the radio ad, stuff like that. So that's been big. Like everybody in Southern California knows my daughter. Absolute airflow, absolute airflow. Like that's all I hear on the radio. So like that got ingrained over time, and then social media was big for me even before I started service here. Like social media marketing was always a good source of income. But the problem is that so everyone gets all negative about social media marketing. It's because they suck at fucking selling. Because I can get leads. You tell me to give me a lead for fucking $20 to $40, and it's Google leads 300 and 200 bucks, whatever it is. I'll give me that $20. Give me 10 of them motherfuckers, and I'm gonna sell half of them. So like that's how I looked at it. I wanted to get as many leads as possible and get in front of as many people as possible at the cheapest possible price. So social media has been massive for us, and then just the amount of branding that you can do through social media too. You get in front of so many people for so cheap. So that's been big, and then just building the community. Like for me, I do a lot of give back. So I think in the last 2.5 years, I've given away like 30 free systems. And I gave them to people at the I remember my one guy was in a house and the lady's got stage 4 cancer and she's going through chemo and her air conditioner doesn't work and she can't afford it. And he called me, he's like, "What do you want me to do?" I was like, "You get your ass back in there and tell her we're giving her fucking free air conditioner." And like that's how I've always operated, and that's allowed my business to scale too. Or like I had another one where it was a firefighter's wife, and the firefighter got killed on the line of duty. She got fucked out of money and didn't have any money. And I'm like, dude, just go get her a brand new system. It was like a $25,000 system. We just did it for free, right? And everyone's like, "Are you crazy?" And I'm like, "No, I'm crazy not to, because that's how you build community." So like, imagine that lady's a fireman. She's gonna tell all those fucking firemen, right? You think firemen got money to spend on air conditioners? Who do you think they're gonna go buy a fucking air conditioner for? Their whole apartment, right?
Yep.
Stuff like that. So you gotta look at the big picture, even though it sucks sometimes to spend the money up front. But as a whole, now it's just as you get bigger, you got to start spreading your wings and omni-channel and stuff like that. But in the beginning, you got to figure out the cheapest leads to possibly get, and you got to learn how to convert them. And for me, that's my specialty. I don't care where the lead came from. Like I don't even want to know where the lead came from. I'm just gonna go to the house and make a friend and make a deal.
So you don't care where lead come from, so you just want to convert them, and that's an amazing thing, right? I mean, Facebook. Let's be real. Facebook are some of the cheapest leads that you can get on a cost per lead basis, right? And just raw cost per lead, not cost per acquisition. I mean, there's some different metrics that you can use to measure that. So if somebody's running, let's say, Facebook ads, and they're getting a $20, $30 lead, and some people say, well, they're kind of garbage, they're shit leads, they're just people who fill out a form incorrectly, blah blah blah, whatever. What are some steps that you've seen people can take to convert more of their leads into book calls, right? Let's not necessarily go down the sales road, but more of the marketing, getting those into book calls. What are some things that you can see people do there?
I mean, the cool thing, obviously, my business partners. I tell him more. I'm the Steve Jobs. He's the Wozniak. He knows he's built out a badass automation to where like we're getting booked into schedule. We're getting booked into service type. Like we went from like Facebook's usually like a 30% booking. We got it up to like 70-something% booking now.
Nice.
So that the automation process, obviously getting in front of that customer fast, but having a process in place where those leads are getting contacted immediately. Like you cannot hesitate. They have to be contacted within the first 5 minutes. Somehow, some way, they got to get contacted. Otherwise, your chance of booking them is going to go down. So my office. So I actually have most of my office in the Philippines. So like, you call my office, it's actually the Philippines. I got like 8 or 9 employees there that work for me and answer the phone. So they handle the inbound stuff, and then all the other stuff that comes in is all actually done in my office. Like Facebook leads come in, Google, website fill forms, stuff like that. all those my girls up here, their job is to get a hold of those people. Those are the hardest ones to book, right? Inbound calls are easy to book. Out calling these people and trying to get them to book something they just put a form in for is harder. So I have my girls that are like trained animals up there. You know what I mean?
So we are getting some. I don't know if anybody else is getting the background noise. I did get a message there as well. We are having a little bit of background noise. I don't know if it's my mic or Evan's or Victor's or what. So just it might be a little bit tough to hear on that. But so what are, I mean, not to take away from obviously what you guys have going on, but you want to get in touch with somebody ASAP and quick. So what are some things that you guys are doing in terms of some of the automations on there? And like, are you calling them within 5 minutes? Are you texting them instantly, sending them email? What's your guys' strategy there?
So we have they get a text message pretty much instantly that, hey, thanks for filling out a form, blah blah blah, and then they're gonna get a booking link right immediately. So they're gonna get a booking link to try to get them booked. If they don't do anything on that, they're gonna get a automated phone digital voicemail drop pretty quickly too. And so obviously, so we get leads that come in all hours of the night. So we want to make sure that we're getting in front of those people immediately and getting those booked. So by the time we wake up in the morning, I got 10, 15 booked tune-ups because the automation took care of it. So I think that's been really big for us. I mean, we I think this month from Facebook I booked 182 tune-ups appointments. So it's obviously massive for us, and then we just got to teach my guys how to convert them because everyone's like, oh, Facebook leads this. Well, guess what? I'm selling a shit ton of stuff on Facebook leads. So.
No, love it. And you're right. Like, you got to get in touch with them instantly, like within minutes on that. And so some people might hear this and they say, okay, what's a voicemail drop? What's that all about? Well, a voicemail drop really is, you're essentially sending them a voicemail to their phone, and it shows up as a missed call. They get the voicemail and encourages calling back. So are you sending that voicemail drop outside of your working hours too? Or is it all stuff that's like, let's say your office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Just for example's sake, are you only sending those voicemail drops to encourage that calling back during your hours? Or is that voicemail drop going out at like 3 a.m. saying, hey, we got your Facebook thing, give us a call? Like,
No, we're not sending it out at 3 a.m. So it definitely is going to be during business hours. Because the idea is so we do the same thing. Like we've built out automated stuff where we can take our database and like our our club members, right? We'll put them on a drip, and every day we do a voicemail drop to 150 of them, right, a day. And then those people, instead of my call center trying to call 150 people a day, they just send out the ringless voicemail drop, and all of a sudden, boom, I get booked appointments. My club members are booking their appointments. They can either book them through text, or they can book them, they can call right back. And that's been big for us too, is that we're able to take instead of wasting all this time and energy having people call out all day long, I can just send out a digital voicemail drop, and the people that are interested call right back anyways and get them booked.
Nice. No, we do something similar with the voicemail drops and some of the automation. So it's a phenomenal thing to be able to use automation based software, on the marketing aspect of things, to be able to just really put you're essentially adding fuel to the fire, especially if you can do it instantly and quickly, because now you've taken that off of your team and you've leveraged the software to be able to do that for you guys.
Yeah, 100%. It's been huge for us, and like I said, I'm only going to keep. Obviously, we're still tweaking it more and more, and just there's so many different triggers and shit that we start building in there. It's just like a rabbit hole. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Always be testing.
Yeah, always testing. And the good thing is I have a business to test on. So I don't for us, we're not testing on our customers, we're testing on me, which sometimes sucks because sometimes I lose money and sometimes last year, I spent a fuck ton of my own marketing dollars testing, right? Testing, A/B testing everything. Okay, this is good, this sucks. Okay, before we rolled it out to our customers, I was testing it on mine. Funky fucking automation, lame ass shit, stuff that didn't work. You know what I mean? I'm doing all this stuff to test it on my business. And that's what helped us grow too, is because we figured out what worked for me, and then we were able to make that to other people all over the country.
Yep, 100%.
Wicked, man. Well, I got one last question for you. What's one question you wish people would ask you more, but they don't?
One question I think is any of the shit that I hear true? Like, some of this shit, like, dude, I hear some wild, I've done some wild shit according to these people, dude. Like, holy fuck. Like, I don't even know where they come up with half the stuff. And I'm like, someone the other day told me like I was like a trust fund baby, or there was like all kinds of crazy. I'm like, no, like I take care of my parents. Like, no, my mom, like I fucking was paying for my mom's apartment to fucking so she could have somewhere to live, and I was living on a couch. Like, that's not me. So there's a lot of guys think that I have like a big money backer or something. I just don't. Like, I have to sell shit every day still. Like, we just got better at it.
So you're not part of the Lucky Sperm Club, is what you're saying?
I am not,
Lucky Sperm.
If you're interested, I can shoot some at you. Send them your way. And I heard if you drink it, you're immortal. But no, but yeah,
next thing that's going to be on your website for sale, Victor's Sperm.
Yeah. Oh, fucking yeah, dude. I got a turkey baster, bro. We'll hook your girl up. Don't worry about it. Babies. No, I'm just kidding. But I think a lot of people once they actually meet me, and they think they have all these crazy conversations about me. When they actually meet me, they're like, dude, like, holy fuck, like, you're fucking, like, I think that's one of the things out of the training. They're like, dude, like, you seem real online, but like you're even like more fucking real in person. Like, I don't sugarcoat shit. Like, I just am who I am, and I think that's over the last year I've become so comfortable in myself and knowing who I am and what I represent and stuff like that, that it's become contagious to other people around me. Like, they can feel like they can be themselves. Everybody's so fucking cookie cutter and blah. Like, I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks. I just do what I feels right. And if you like me, you like me. You don't like me, then fuck you. I don't really care.
100%.
Kind of like my philosophy too. People either love you or they hate you. And if they hate you, who cares? But like the more success a person tends to have, though, too, the more that these, and I use air quotes, haters come out of the woodworks to be able to hate on you, and they have no basis for anything that they say other than the fact that, oh, this person's up, they're having success. Let's fucking hate on them and try to knock them down. Where if you don't give a fuck about what they think and just keep doing you, who cares, right?
Well, you saw that promo video I made for the event, and it's like I hear all these people talking shit. So like, and my hammer guy, I'm like, dude, all the people were talking, like saying all the shit because like Brent, when I first announced, Brent was getting texts from him, I can't believe you're working with that guy, all kinds of crazy shit, dude. And so I'm like, I hit up my camera guy. I'm like, I got a good idea. Like, let's go get all my employees. I'm gonna record them talking shit on me. Right. And then it's going to come out and it's like, yeah, fuck you guys. I hear all the shit you're talking. Come see what I'm about type deal. So like that video came through my mind. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. That sounds fucking cool. And I came up with the idea. We made it the next day. He's like, dude, that's a fucking cool idea. Yep. So yeah. So you hear the shit talking. That's all my employees. And my employees are like, are you sure I can say this about you, boss? I'm like, don't worry about it.
It's a promo piece. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. But yeah. So it came out. It was like, anyways, just stuff like that. I hear so much shit. Just like, I saw Gene Hater stuff, Gene does the same shit. Like, dude, people, if they can't understand it, they can't do it themselves. They're gonna have a negative connotation about it and think that you're doing something, ripping people out. Like, you don't know me. Like, I don't rip people off. I don't do that. Like, that's not what I do. Totally. I only work my ass off, and I provide a phenomenal service, and people want to buy shit from me.
Totally.
100%. Well, as Gene said, they're jealousy, right? That's what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
Two ways to have the tallest building in town: you tear others down, or you build yours up and build others up with you. So that is something that I see you doing exceptionally well through the training, through everything. I mean, the money's kind of become more of just a scorecard in a game at this point, right? And we're getting to that point too. And it's just everything becomes more fun because you can do more for other people when that becomes the case. So
yeah, like I honestly don't look at my bank account. Like, I don't give a fuck. I already know, like, I have money and I don't really give a fuck. Like, that's not what I'm here for. Money's going to keep coming to me like it always does. I don't care about the money at all. I know it's going to come, but at the end of the day, like, I want to make sure I get compensated for what I do, because what I have in my head, you got to pay me for it. It's not free. Like, I made a big mistake along the way. I made a lot of people a lot of money, and they used me to get their money. And now I was on this phone with the service type person today. I'm like, you guys know I won't even say your goddamn name anymore unless I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? I don't say
royalties.
Shit. Yeah, unless I'm getting royalties on something, like, I get all these people, like, you see my shelf over here, I get all these stuff, people send me all this free shit, and they're probably hoping that I'm gonna post it. I'm like, nah, You gotta send a checkbook. You gotta send a check. I ain't doing none of that shit for free.
Love it, dude.
So, well, I will be the first, Evan, unless you have any other follow-up questions.
No, go for it.
No, perfect. Well, I'll be the first to say thank you, Victor, for taking the time out of your undoubtedly busy schedule to sit and chat with two crazy Canadians who are drinking whiskey and having a show to also give back value to others. So thank you again for taking the time to chat.
Cool, man. Like I said, you guys are doing a great job, and like I said, the podcast is cool. Thanks for having me on, and just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, we're in the same market, but there's so many damn contractors. As long as you're doing a good job, that's all I give a shit about.
Exactly.
Like, I don't like marketing companies that are fucking people, like, and not doing their job.
No.
If you're generally doing your job, then you're good in my book. That's how I look at it.
Yep. We don't need to go down the rabbit hole because I'm going to get fired up about marketing companies who hold companies by the balls, especially when it comes to their websites. It's just fucking criminal. So stop fucking doing that shit if you're listening to this. Like, seriously. Anyways, until next time, guys. Cheers.
All right, see you guys.
Cheers, man.
Now for my horrible video that I have to re-record. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Before you go, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. That URL one more time, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. The other thing, if you took one little golden nugget of information from this show, no matter how big, no matter how small, what we ask is you introduce this show to one person in your contacts list. That's it. That's all we ask. Introduce it to one person in your contacts list so they too can unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Until next time, cheers.